Resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared and Brian Held. Heard live on News Talk 99.5 WRNO and the iHeartRadio app. Here are your hosts, Brian Held and D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth. This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared with
Brian Held.
Brian Held. How the heck are you, buckaroo?
Man, I am really good. You know, I stopped by earlier at the Bad Wolf Barn Grill in Gretna. Yeah.
Are we supposed to yell every time we say Bad Wolf?
No.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
But when the commercial airs, the guys tonight, it's coffee bombs is what they're getting.
Irish car bombs?
No, coffee bombs.
What the hell's a coffee bomb?
I don't know. You got to go over there and have one.
Is there booze in there, or is it just coffee?
It's booze. Come on.
Okay. Well, I've heard of an Irish coffee bomb. Never heard of a coffee bomb.
Oh, well, that's what it's called. So they're having them.
Okay.
Yes. So
thanks for clearing that up.
The other thing is I stopped by to drop off tickets. We received some tickets for the Garden Brothers Circus that's September 21st through the 23rd at the Pontchartrain Civic Center in Kenna.
Kenna.
So those tickets are for kids with the purchase of an adult ticket. So if you'd like to get a ticket, they're waiting for you at the bar while supplies last.
All righty then. Well, let's lay out the show real quick. As always, we'll open up with top nerd news, and then Brian's favorite part of the show, Skungy's pick of the week. And then we have another guest, Mr. Held.
Yes, so we have this guy's name is Chris Hamburger. He is a sculptor and mold maker. He worked on productions like Infinity War and the new Hellboy movie and stuff. So we're going to be talking to him about his work in the industry.
Well, look at that. And as always, we'll close out the show with This Week in Geek History. But first... And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. All right, Mr. Held, what's topping us off tonight?
Well, it's the one article that apparently I lost in my notes here, but we need to talk about it. It is
okay.
Henry Cavill. You know, earlier this week, did you hear that he might not be Superman?
Yes, and let me tell you that just the waterworks were falling. I was like, oh no, not Henry Cavill, who has one acting face.
Right.
He's got blue steel. That's all he's got.
What does that include the mustache?
Yeah, who wants a mustache ride?
Right. So... apparently the initial report was that it was over the cameo that was supposed to happen in Shazam. And then there's all this brouhaha, but then I believe it was TMZ came out and said that it's all fake.
It's all a facade.
Yes, just invented controversy on behalf of Warner Brothers in order to kind of create some...
Well, I think the other rumor was that it was his PR firm or whoever his agents are putting it out there to let them know how much of a backlash there would be if Henry Cavill wasn't Superman. And I don't think anybody really gives a flying fart.
The whole thing was just ridiculous, and you know there was a non-response from Warner Brothers that came out. There was this sort of non-response from Cavill. Yeah, it was like, what the hell's going on?
I think it was maybe Wednesday or something. I saw something pop up about that, but it also popped up, you know, the resurfacing of the Batfleck. Yeah, and it just seems like everything over there at Warner Brothers is just falling apart at the seams. They just can't seem to get a movie right. And even some of the early reviews of Aquaman are kind of falling a little flat as well.
Yeah.
So, oh my.
I don't know. They need to figure it out. They need to stop ruling by committee and having their board of directors.
I really don't think they know what they're doing. Period. End of story. I think it's just a loss of control on every level.
Yeah.
They are just flailing around. It's like watching the DCEU in its death throes, and it's first you thought it was their birth, you know, it was just, there's just a gangly little child, doesn't know what it's doing, but then you realize it's like Benjamin Button, and all of a sudden it's just like an ancient corpse, and a stiff breeze is going to make it turn into dust. Do you follow where I went with that? Because
yes.
I didn't. Okay, good. Thank you.
But I wonder if that is going to have further ramifications for their streaming service, if people are just going to be so ultimately turned off by DC and what they've been putting out thus far to be like, why bother?
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I'm notoriously cheap, but still, I mean, the Robot Man. I guess that kind of rolls into that next. What's his nuts?
Brendan Fraser.
It's not Brendan Fraser who's playing that robot dude from Doom Patrol.
Yeah, he's supposed to be voicing him and working. I didn't print it out.
Well, who was that dude in the picture that I sent you? That was not what's his nuts. That was not Brendan Fraser.
But Brendan is voicing that character.
Well, who's the dude in the costume?
I don't know. He's a stunt man.
We don't know that for certain.
Well, but
he almost looked like the guy from Thank You for Not Smoking or whatever. Thank You for Smoking.
There was nothing in the article that indicated who that individual was, other than a stunt man or some person on the production.
I'll give it this: the costumes looked better than what they had for Teen Titans.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, of course, that's not really high praise,
dude. And I saw some recent pictures from the Teen Titans, kind of the polished post production look, and it didn't look good. Right, I'm just really kind of disappointed with that whole thing.
Should I dress up as Starfire for Halloween?
Oh, stop!
I could.
No,
I have a wig.
No, just stop, Dave. You're
fine.
Yes,
just crush my dreams.
Well, hey, look. Speaking of stunt performers, we had a stunt performer on, Jazzy Ellis. She was on our June 24th show. If you folks want to go back and listen to that podcast,
do it. Do it now.
There was an article that she shared out from Bustle.com. Talking about a little bit what we talked about, her experience in the industry, but there were a couple of things that she pointed out in this article that really kind of blew me away. Have you heard of the terms wigging and paint downs?
What the? Can you say that on the air?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So wigging is the act of taking a male stunt performer
and putting a wig
on him to portray a female.
Nice.
Right? And then paint downs is taking essentially a white performer and painting him like blackface or yellowface or whatever to be of some other ethnicity. And of course, Miss Ellis is a black woman, and she is trying to advocate for more roles for people of color to be in the industry. And so, it was wow, that was eye opening to kind of see that. I didn't understand that practice was happening.
I think we all knew it was happening, but is it that pervasive?
Apparently. And she even tried to go through SAG-AFTRA and get some provisions in the union contract to have stiff penalties, and all that stuff got shot down. It does seem like they're trying to make some gains within the industry, but I don't know, man. It was kind of weird. I mean, it's just I was glad to learn of that practice and to understand that it's happening, and glad to see that people are working to get more opportunities for those folks. So, just kind of weird.
Wait, you got all serious, so I can't say anything funny. So
all right.
Thanks for painting me in a corner, pal.
You're welcome. It's what I do.
Picard should wear a wig. There's your freaking segue, Brian.
Nice. So apparently we've got a timeline established for the new Picard show with the Star Trek streaming service. It'll be what?
Huh? Wait, what? I'm sorry. Were you talking?
What? You brought it up.
Oh, I did. Yeah, right. I totally forgot.
Yes.
Wait. Oh, Picard. Right.
Yes.
Right. Star Trek.
Yes. The events of Picard's... Stop.
All right. What is it?
The events of Picard's show are going to happen about 20 years after the events of, Voyager and Next Generation and all that kind of stuff.
So 23... when the Borg collective shows up on our doorstep, or at the end of Voyager where they fling them back into the Delta Quadrant?
20 years after that. So
they're already on their way back.
Yeah, 23.99.
The hell's it going to be about? Him and his vineyards?
You know what?
Oh, look at this dirt. That smell. It's got a nice cherry smell in this dirt. What?
Apparently, he had ties to the Klingon Federation as far as diplomatic stuff going on. So they might be bringing him back to deal with that.
What, like the fifth incarnation of bad Klingon makeup? What?
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
right?
I got no faith. I just don't care.
You know what?
I'm going to go back to sleep. You talk.
No, stop. Because I'm just happy to see that it's moved forward, that we're actually moving into the future of the series versus going back and retreading old ground.
That's a good point.
I'll
give you that.
All right.
But I don't know. I'm at the point where I don't care anymore.
Well, you don't want to see Jean-Luc Picard, No?
I really don't care.
You want to see somebody new?
No.
Oh, so you're done with Star Trek?
I think so, yes. I think that's where I'm going. I mean, the movies are garbage. Everything else that they're putting out, they just don't know what they're doing.
Well, I will agree that Paramount and CBS don't understand their property.
They're working at cross purposes too.
Right.
So they're not helping each other out.
Well, in fairly, you asked me a question before the show. You were like, is this set in the Abrams universe? And I said no, because I think the Abrams universe is just the movies and not the and it's crazy.
No, I mean there's a lot of questions that they brought all this crap on themselves.
Right.
I mean, and so I can't get into it. I just have, and I love me some Star Trek, dude. Heroes and Icons. I literally put that station on in the kitchen when I'm cooking dinner at night just to watch old Star Treks back when it was good.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. I'm at the point where I'm about to tap out on all of them because they're not giving me anything.
Okay.
So why should I give them anything back?
No, that's fair.
It's like a bad relationship.
You know, speaking of not giving you anything, apparently we're not going to get any more American Gods until next year. They've had further delays in their production. They're about 6 weeks behind right now.
What is wrong with these people?
Well, Jesse Alexander is the current showrunner. He took over for Michael Green and Brian Fuller, who were fired from season 1. And yet it seems that Alexander has been pushed to the side. He's been fired but not fired, right? And, you know, apparently Gaiman is not happy with how season 1 went. It didn't flow to his vision from the book.
Okay.
And so he's trying to get more involved, but he can't be too involved because he's showrunning Good Omens for Amazon.
Right.
So who knows what's going on.
I don't know. I think if it's your friggin' intellectual property, if you're the author, you should be hands-on whatever you want. You know what I mean? Unless you're an a-hole like you, Bowl.
Oh, so you want to move to that?
No, I'm teasing it, Brian.
Oh, you're teasing it.
Or Uwe Bowl, whatever the heck his ridiculous name is.
Right. But look, man, American God season 1 was phenomenal.
I did not see it, so I cannot comment on that.
Right.
But I love me some Neil Gaiman. I've lost track of how many of his books I've read.
Oh, yeah. No, and they did a phenomenal job. And even though it may have departed from the book a bit, it was still a good story, well presented, good cinematography, and fantastic actors that were in there. So, I don't know. I hope they sort this out and get us some American God season 2 soon.
I don't see why he should be precluded from handling his own baby just because he's doing something with Amazon.
Well, because Good Omens is his other
Terry
book.
Pratchett, yeah.
Yeah, and he is totally focused on, he doesn't want to split his time between two, but he's still listed as executive producer on American Gods, so it's not like he doesn't have a hand in it.
Well, maybe he could give some tips to George R. Martin and get frickin' Game of Thrones together, you frackin' ricka-racka. Speaking of Uwe Boll, I hate him.
Yeah.
If bad films were crimes, Uwe Boll would be public enemy number 1.
This is unwatchable.
You're trash, Uwe.
Uwe Boll was kind of like somebody who walks into a room, punches you in the face, and then says, "What'd you think of that?"
Shut the f***
It's more important to do stuff as long as you can, not really to worry about what the people think about you. I think that is it's just a waste of time.
So, Uwe Boll, one of the most reviled filmmakers in the industry, the entire game industry hates this guy with a passion, is getting his own documentary called, I can't say it all,
Bleep You.
Bleep You, the Uwe Boll story. And, yeah, it's a documentary.
One of the things in the commercial, that documentary that I just pulled that audio from, though, is just when you think back and you look at some of the actors he got. Ben Kingsley, your boy from The Transporter.
Ron Perlman.
Yeah, and then I think Burt Reynolds even popped up. Oh, I mean, it's insane. He got all these great actors, but I mean, it's just like, here's a big pile of crap. Read it.
Right. Well,
and I mean, what do most of these guys probably know about gaming? Probably 0 to none, if I had to guess. You know, that's why I like your boy from Pitch Black. Vin
Diesel.
Yeah, Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
I like him. At least he plays the damn games.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a nice guy.
We don't
Uwe Boll
know that.
is a jerk.
Yeah, that we know for certain.
Right.
Everybody who's worked with him, like, yeah, he curses a lot. He yells at us. He demeans you. It's just like it's a bad workplace, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to see this documentary about this misunderstood genius.
Yes.
All right. Well,
right.
We're getting close to a break. Yeah.
Skungy ain't called yet. Forget about him.
All right. Well, while we're talking about controversy,
what?
a British TV reporter named Christy Alsop figured the best way to handle her kids playing too much Fortnite was to just smash their iPads.
Really?
Yes.
That was the conclusion she came up with.
She said we set down rules to how much games you can play. These are violent video games. I don't want you to spend a lot of time on it. They broke the rules. She took it two-handed right on the side of the table leg. Crack.
How violent? That's unusually violent for someone.
Well, and
maybe she'd been playing too many Fortnite games.
Maybe so. And of course, she did receive a backlash to like people are like, "Hey, you could have donated those iPads to like a school or something."
Tell those people to shut up. God, I hate those kind of people.
Well,
you could have donated it. No, if it's my stuff and I want to break it, I'm going to break it. Don't tell me I could have donated it.
Well, I mean, would you break one of your kids' gaming devices?
No, I would just take it away from him and play with it myself. Why would I break my own stuff? That's just crazy talk.
Well, what's interesting, though...
Unless it's a grandiose gesture.
True, but she may be doing her kids a favor.
Why? Did they get inundated with free iPads?
No, because apparently Fortnite game addiction is cited as a cause for divorce in the UK. There's been 200 cases of divorces this year where Fortnite was cited as the reason for the divorce.
I think you could probably pull those numbers for every game that's out there.
Probably.
How many World of Warcraft, StarCraft, you take your pick craft.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah. EverQuest had its heyday.
Oh, geez, did it.
Yeah. All right, Brian. Let's go to break.
All right, cool. Guys, when we get back, we're going to hear from our boy Skungy and his pick of the week. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Do you want to be more fit, more confident, and have a greater sense of well-being? Then join us at NOLA Aikido. Sensei Brian Levy and other instructors will guide you through the way of harmonious spirit as a means of self-defense, exercise, and wellness. NOLA Aikido is located at 3909 Bienville, or you can find us online at nolaaikido.com. Classes are available for both adults and children, so begin your journey today with NOLA Aikido on a greater path toward the art of peace.
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Mata Hari, Agent H21, is a spy fiction short story anthology about the famous dancer, seductress, and spy from World War I. Mata Hari, Agent H21, published by Pro Se Productions, has 7 rip-roaring adventure tales about the world-famous super spy that features her battling her enemies by using any weapons at her disposal. Mata Hari, Agent H21 is available for purchase in ebook and paperback formats on Amazon.com.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Belle Chase Highway today.
This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Follow them on Twitter at TWIG Radio. Do it now.
Welcome back. This is The Week in Geek. Thanks, voice guy. This is D Squared along with
Brian Held.
Brian, you know what? It's my least favorite time of the show.
Yes.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
Skungy's Pick of the Week is brought to you by GameStop and ThinkGeek.com.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Woohoo!
Skungy, what's shaking bacon?
Goonie Goo Goo Gus.
Yes. For those who aren't understanding what the hell he just said, I was at Universal Circus just last night, Brian.
Yes.
Representing iHeartRadio and Sports 1280 specifically. And I even said Mecca Lecca Hi, Mecca Hi Ho.
Those were your magic words.
They were my magic words. It's also my safe word, too.
Oh, jeez.
In case anybody's interested.
TMI.
You're welcome, world.
Skungy, what game are we talking about?
We're talking about the Strange Brigade.
Yes! Tell me it's good.
All right. It's a fun game.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Skungy. Talk to you next week.
No, so
right,
what is, I don't have no idea what Strange Brigade is. What is it?
The Strange Brigade is a game that it's a third-person shooter on the Xbox One and PS4 that is set. It's a rip-roaring adventure. You're going through a campaign set in 1930s Egypt.
Okay.
And it's got that kind of that Saturday morning serial, like going, the Strange Brigade is blasting their way through a thrilling campaign. Can they make it? They have terrifying traps. Will they make it? Tune in and find out next week.
So that Mideastern old school kind of radio voice.
At the Brown Derby, yes, Clark
Yes.
Gable. Making out with, I don't know, some dame with a skirt.
Exactly. As you're playing through the game, it's like, what conundrum are they going to feel next? You know, it's
Does Burt Ward show up? Does Burt Ward or Adam West just pop up just randomly? That would be cool.
No, unfortunately. That would have made it perfect, though.
All right, so it's the 30s. We're in the Middle East, you said?
In Egypt,
In Egypt. And so what is kind of the goal? What are we doing here?
Okay, so you're going through, like, this, deity is, like, coming back to life, and you're investigating, like, these strange going-ons in these temple ruins and everything, and you're going through and you're fighting these monsters that have, come up from the grave, and every time you meet a monster, the screen turns black and white and it zooms in on them, and it does that whole, like, kind of like written in, like, horrifying mummies, and it, like, a little quip below it. So you're fighting all these supernatural enemies and whatnot. You can play the game 1 to 4 players, and you can play it co-op throughout the entire game.
All right.
Can I play when I play with three other people? Can they be robots and not people?
You can no. You're either going to play it by yourself or with other people. There are no bots really.
So it's not like I was hoping this was going to be kind of like Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2. That was kind of what I don't know. I guess when we saw it back at E3 or whatever the heck when it first popped up, I thought this was going to be similar to that. So it's not like that. If you play by yourself, you're just that one lonely character running around.
Just that one character. It does have that feel though of that waves and waves of enemies, and you have to be creative when you're fighting these enemies. So you've got like a bunch of these mummies coming towards you, and there's some of them are fast depending on what type of enemy type you have, but they have traps that are set out throughout the level. So you'll shoot this one orb and these blades will pop up and spin, and you like try to take them out that way, or you shoot a vase of fire and it'll spread fire throughout the level, or spikes will drop down from the ceiling, or spears coming out of the ground and stuff like that. You're trying to set up all these enemies to set them in the trap. So it makes it a little bit easier when you're playing just one person.
So is there a narrative that we're going through? Is there some sort of goal?
You're gonna save the world. Jeez.
Yes, you have, like I said, this deity is coming back to life, and you're trying to find out who set it off, what's setting, all these different, enemies on your path and whatnot. And it's cool because you also have puzzles throughout every level. So for people who are a little exploratory, you can go through a level and find these interesting little, there are slide puzzles. You have to look around the level and try to find what combination of pictures, like hieroglyphics you have to put
so
on.
So you're saying
this,
I can skip
tablet.
the puzzles. You're saying I can skip the puzzles, though, right?
You can skip the puzzles if you want to.
Yeah.
You don't have to, because as you do, you get bonuses and whatnot. And the cool thing about it, it's got almost a MOBA kind of feel to it, because you get gold coins throughout the game and throughout the level. And as you're throughout a level, you find these chests that you can open up that'll give you better weapons. But you only have them for that level. Now you can upgrade your regular weapons for going on to the next level, but they have bonus weapons that will only be used in that level, where the MOBA kind of comes in.
All right, that's fair. And MOBA means Mobile Battle Arena for the folks out there who don't know that term.
The plebes.
Well, you know.
Mr. PC Master Race over there.
Yeah, well. All right, so what else?
It got awkwardly silent really quick.
It did. You cut it with a knife. So no, it like I said, I'm enjoying the game. It does seem like a game that would be better set if you play it with other people. It seems like the game was made more for that than playing it single player. But you can play it just fine. And then there are different modes you can play. There's a horde mode, which is always fun, endless waves of enemies over and over again. And then there's a score attack mode where you can play just to see if you can get the highest score.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, and so far there's no DLC for it.
All right.
The only DLC that they have is like an extra character, and it was actually free on Xbox.
So wait, did they actually finish the game and then sold the game?
Yes.
No. Who does that anymore? That's crazy.
I know. It's such a novel
Here's
idea.
half the game. You can buy the other half later.
Yes.
And that seems to be the going market right now. Let's not finish it. Let's just, we'll get to it next year.
All right. Price and platform, Mr. Skungy.
It is $59.99, and like I said, it's on the Dirty PC, the Xbox One, and the PlayStation 4.
Any coupons out there I can find? Because I kind of want to play, but
well, you know what? It's coming up on that time of year. If you want to wait, it more than likely. I'm gonna tell you, this is a title that it's a fun title, but it's not a AAA title.
So it's gonna like go into the cheapo bin real soon.
It's gonna drop. This title is going to drop in price. I can almost guarantee you that.
Yeah, and look, you can always trade in some of your old games, Dave, over at GameStop.
For a shiny nickel?
No, look, we got a really good deal.
A dime.
My wife went and took a bunch of her old games and one of her old systems. We brought it over to GameStop, and we ended up upping our membership level to whatever the highest power level it is.
Wow, it's like $20 for a membership, Brian. So that's what you got. You got a console and a bunch of games. You got $20. Good on you.
Hold on. What's the highest level, Skungy?
Well, it was the Elite Pro, which unfortunately is no longer going on anymore. But while you have the card, you still have the benefits.
Right. And how much was that Elite Pro membership?
That was $30 a year.
All right, so we got
$30. Oh, $10 more than.
Look, it was crazy because my wife turned in so much stuff that when we added that,
we're sitting here bad mouthing our sponsor.
No, we're not. I'm not.
Okay,
you are. So we actually, when we went up that level, we got more money back. They actually owed us more back.
What?
Yeah. So if you tie everything into a promotion and stuff that's going on, you get a lot back. And she got a Switch.
You really can get a lot. It's just if you trade in like a sports title, every year they have a new one that comes out. So, of course, it's not going to be worth any money. But when you trade in stuff that, it's worth, and if you go in on the right promotion, you can actually pay for your games.
Yeah. So there you go, Dave.
Fine.
See,
I'm just going to go to Bad Wolf and do a coffee bomb. Or
all
whatever.
right.
Yeah. Forget you guys.
Look, you're all super cheap. I'm trying to help you out. All right. Well, hey, Skungy, anything going on in the esports world? I know we're still in the midst of the Overwatch World Cup.
Expansion teams.
Dave's trying to get, in on the expansion team. I think he's got a good shot.
Well, we got, 3 more in China. There's 2 in Canada. There's 1 in Paris. And I think
Atlanta?
We don't talk about Atlanta in this station.
You're not allowed to do that.
But no, well, here's the complaint actually from the world.
All right.
Is that there's not enough European teams because there's only 2. There's only London and now Paris.
Really?
Oui, Paris. So 2, and then there's like 7, 8, or 8 or 9 here in the States, or 10, I think. And then they didn't add another one in Korea either.
Interesting.
So I don't know, but it's like it's a $35-60 million buy-in. It's not like it's that much, but. I don't know. We'll get into that later, though.
All right. That's fair. Awesome. Skungy, anything else? Any other updates or anything?
No, pretty quiet. We got some, on the horizon. October, I'll tell you, October is going to be a stupid month for video gaming. There's so much stuff. Every week you have a AAA title coming out in the month of October, so hold on to your pocketbooks.
You'll actually get to play games now that you don't have to work at the House of Shock, huh?
Oh, God.
Do you have
It's not like
October's
they're
back?
trying to get me to go there.
Do you have October's back now?
I have my October's back. I actually have a life in
Well, good.
October.
Well, get
So
your
I'm
ass
gonna
in the living
start
room,
drinking at
play more
Oktoberfest
video
with Scott
games.
Webster.
Right,
Yeah.
and when you play those games, of course, you're streaming those on Twitch, right?
When-
Brian, I'm so proud.
Yes, I will. I am starting to stream on Twitch. Like I said, I was having problems with my PS4, but I'm going to start streaming next game next week, actually.
All right, and that channel is?
That's going to be Rev Skungy.
All right.
REVSKUNGY.
All right, well, Skungy, guess what? We have to go to a break. Bye.
You go to a break.
Wow, that was you were pretty curt with him.
Well, at least I didn't fire him.
Oh man, squirrel moment real quick though. Was talking about mummies. You know what I finally got to watch was the Tom Cruise mummy,
and
I liked it up until the point where the movie started. So there was
Fair
that. I liked the opening scenes, and then it was like a long trailer. It was bad. It was bad.
All right, guys, stay tuned. When we get back from these short commercial messages, our interview with Chris Hamburger, mold maker and sculptor extraordinaire. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game.
Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, is now an audiobook read for you by Brian Held. It's a tale of a young girl from Tortuga who disguises herself as a boy and bluffs her way onto a pirate ship, chasing after her one true love, only to find adventure on the high seas. Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid is available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. Get your copy of Jezebel Johnston today.
Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Do you want to be more fit, more confident, and have a greater sense of well-being? Then join us at NOLA Aikido. Sensei Brian Levy and other instructors will guide you through the way of harmonious spirit as a means of self-defense, exercise, and wellness. NOLA Aikido is located at 3909 Bienville, or you can find us online at nolaaikido.com. Classes are available for both adults and children, so begin your journey today with NOLA Aikido on a greater path toward the art of peace.
You're listening to The Week in Geek.
It rubs the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told.
Make it a habit, will ya?
It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so...
Here's David and Brian.
This is Brian Held with the Week in Geek Radio Show on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. And I'm joined by Sculptor and mold maker, Chris Hamburger. How are you, sir?
I'm well, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Fantastic. Now, sculpting and mold making seems like a very interesting career. How do you get started in something like that?
Well, down here in the South, it's kind of hard to get started in that industry, but I started in my garage. I did it there, and I did it in all my kitchens, in all my apartments that I stayed in. I ruined many utensils. But honestly, I never gave up. I just kept on putting my resume, my information out there, and eventually a local studio picked me up. And from there, I just kept on working, trying to put everything I could in my portfolio, and went from there.
Now, I have to ask, because we kind of talked before this interview, you preceded the YouTube generation a little bit. You didn't have those YouTube videos out there to instruct you how to do this stuff like we have nowadays. So, I mean, how did you figure this out?
Well, honestly, I used the card catalog at the local public library. That's pretty much what I had growing up. I'd go in there, and they had some fantastic books, obviously limited information, but I did what I could with what I had. Yes, that was before the University of YouTube. But honestly, when you have an itch to do it, you'll find a way. And luckily enough, I come from an art background. My mom, she made porcelain dolls in the French Quarter, and my dad was an architect. So I had that going for me too.
Now, I know you've done some work here locally, but your career progress has taken you all the way to California to work in the film industry. Tell me about how you got into that.
Well, when I moved out there, I managed to pick up just regular shop work on one TV show that was Star Trek Discovery. And then from there, I tried to network, and eventually I got picked up from several different studios. I worked on films such as the new Hellboy movie that's coming out. I worked on Infinity Wars for Marvel. So I was able to work on some really cool things. Even Aquaman I did sculpting for. So definitely blessed to have been on several major films doing sculptor work.
So is there any difference between kind of the low-level stuff and that high-level kind of MCU high profile? I mean, is it all really the same process when you're dealing with molding and sculpting?
It's the same process, but of course, when you work with higher-end clientele, and there's going to be higher standards. Things need to be done down to pretty much an ounce count for helmets and props. Whereas if you're on a low-budget film, like just a slasher film or anything like that, you are able to get away with a lot. So there is quite the difference when it comes to working that scale. Not to say that anything's wrong with the low-budget films. Those are some of the most fun films I've managed to work on because the director pretty much just lets you have free reign. So.
Now, you mentioned something I want to dig into is ounce count. Can you explain that for the listening audience?
Yeah. When I say ounce count, that pretty much means for the actors or stunt actors, what people don't understand is that they have to wear this stuff all day, usually around 12 to 15 hours a day. So every ounce counts. We have to have the helmets, especially the helmets. Anything that's going to be worn on the head, people don't understand a matter of 1 to 2 pounds on the head over a period of 12 to 15 hours can damage your neck. So we have to be able to have it down to a certain ounce, just to a certain weight, so it doesn't actually affect the actors. Very much like Tim Curry in, I forget which movie that was, Legend, yeah, Legend. Those horns, those were massive, and in between takes, they had two people just holding the horns, so it wouldn't hurt his neck.
Now, when you're working on these props, especially the ones that are being used in these large industry productions, is that all behind the scenes? Are you just kind of working in the workshop and then you don't see that prop again until it's actually on the silver screen, or do you get to get out on set?
It really depends on what production needs. If they need you on set, they're going to fly you out to set. They're going to have you transport the props with you. But usually you're just, behind the scenes. You're working at the studio, and eventually they'll send somebody, one of the gophers, to come by and pick up all the props if it's local. If not, we'll ship it out. So.
Now, tell me about, how many different types of molds are out there that can be made for stuff, or is it innumerable?
It's pretty much innumerable. I mean, you're looking at countless styles of molds. You have your traditional block molds, you have matrix molds, you have just 2-part, 3-part, whatever, just multi-part molds. The concept is the same, but the technique and execution is different. Every material can be handled with specific, or I should say every medium, you need to find out which material can be used on it. So there's definitely a thorough knowledge of chemicals and substances used in the process. You have to be aware of all of that. And I'll be honest, it takes years to pretty much get all of it down, all of the tips, the tricks, the techniques, just applications, all of that fun stuff. But yes, it's you can't count how many different kinds, and I'm sure there's different kinds being created as we speak now. Just you'll find that working in the industry, you just kind of got to make things work. So if something doesn't exist, you make it.
Fantastic. Now, speaking of making things, of course, you have your own web store out there. You do your own intellectual property and make these great robot heads and different things. Tell me about your creations that you've done.
Well, I am what's considered a traditional hard surface sculptor. There's not many of those people left. And what that means is that instead of 3D printing, I sculpt everything by hand on my robotic pieces. And that's what I specialize in. I specialize in masks and helmets that are like a hard surface design. I love robots. I originally went to college for mechanical engineering, then realized I didn't like the actual process of it, but I like to make things look like that. So that's what I do for myself, is I love to have just the mechanical design in clay. Sometimes I have a concept, and honestly, sometimes I just kind of let the clay take me where it wants. So, yeah.
So now your stuff has a sort of 1950s aesthetic. What is it about that draws you into designing robots that look like they come from the 1950s?
Well, that's pretty much the aesthetic. That's the sci-fi aesthetic. A lot of people like the iRobot series. They like the sleek design. I'm for that. I very much enjoy it, but I love the clanker style, the cast iron style of the 40s and 50s, of the World War era. I love just heavy industrial. Not like clockwork or anything like that, but I like machines that had that heavy industrial look, but I also like the vintage classic styles of like cars and machines back then too. It's just there's a sleekness about it that you don't really see in today's age.
True. So does that mean that you're a big fan of like Fallout and Wasteland and that kind of stuff?
Very much so. I have some projects I've worked on for films. I've actually incorporated that. I've gotten a lot of behind the scenes concept art, or just a lot of concept art from the game itself, and I've used it as reference to create a lot of like post-apocalyptic either weapons or robots, anything like that people would need for film. Definitely a hardcore fan of that aesthetic.
Fantastic. So, of course, how do folks find out about your products? Where do they go? How do they keep up with you on social media, all that good stuff?
Well, I would just tell you I do have my Instagram account for my art page. That's my handle is going to be Burger Strings. It's an interesting name. It makes sense to me, but yeah, it's going to be Burger Strings. If you look that up, you'll find me. I also have my online store. That's going to be burgerstringsdesigns.squarespace.com. And you can also check out, I have a video up on my Patreon under the same name, Burger Strings, and that kind of tells you a little bit about me and what I do.
Cool. And do you do tutorial videos or any of that kind of stuff?
That's actually in the works. I just recently am now a full-time artist. I was rocking the 9-to-5 like a lot of people, but I decided to open up my own studio and pursue that. So instructional videos are to come. I know a lot of people out there have an extreme interest in specifically what I do with the traditional techniques of sculpting.
Well, you absolutely do incredible work, and I've personally seen it. And we thank you so much for taking the time with us today.
Well, thank you. I very much appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to any other future endeavors that we have together.
All right, guys, stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to close out the show as we always do with This Week in Geek History. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
You've waited for it, and now it's here. Get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt and help support our show. These 100% cotton black t-shirts with the Week in Geek Radio Show logo are going fast. So don't wait. Go to twigradio.com and order your shirt now. Just go to twigradio.com and get your very own Week in Geek Radio Show t-shirt. $15 up to XL, $17 for 2X and 3X. That's twigradio.com.
Friends, is your morning tea just not your cup of tea? Then try the tea blends of Viridian Tea Company. At Viridian Tea Company, they sell blends guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With such blends as My Enemy's Tears, Goth Librarian, Cyberpunk, and many more, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop, located at 631 North Carrollton, or on Etsy at Viridian Tea Company. Try Viridian Tea Company today. Your taste buds will thank you.
Black Tie Tans, the premier mobile spray tanning professionals of New Orleans. Black Tie Tans will come to you and give you a natural glistening glow on the go. First-time customers get 20% off their first tan. Find them on Facebook at Black Tie Tans or email them at blacktieTans@gmail.com to set your appointment. Going to a wedding? Going out to the club? Black Tie Tans will give you the look you need. Black Tie Tans. Tell your pale friends. Boldly going where no bar has gone before. The Bad Wolf is a bar, restaurant, and game shop all in one. You can't beat our specialty drinks, fresh food, and a variety of RPGs, board games, and miniature games for sale or rent. Stop by and hang out, or attend one of our regularly scheduled events, all in a non-smoking environment. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill is located at 2010 O'Connor Street in Gretna, or find us at badwolfbar.com. The Bad Wolf Bar and Grill, where everybody knows your game. Do you have a message or logo that you need the world to see? Then rely on the folks at Gretna Signworks to use their expertise to deliver your design. With over 15 years in business, Gretna Signworks can do commercial and yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, magnetic signs, vehicle graphics and lettering, and so much more. Gretna Signworks also has an exceptional network of suppliers, so no job is out of scope. Find Gretna Signworks on Facebook or visit them at 2125 Bell Chase Highway today.
Mata Hari, Agent H21, is a spy fiction short story anthology about the famous dancer, seductress, and spy from World War I. Mata Hari, Agent H21, published by Pro Se Productions, has 7 rip-roaring adventure tales about the world-famous super spy that features her battling her enemies by using any weapons at her disposal. Mata Hari, Agent H21 is available for purchase in ebook and paperback formats on Amazon.com.
This is Captain Rex, troopers, and you're listening to The Week in Geek. Now move out.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D-Squared with
Brian Held.
As always, we want to strongly urge you to check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twigradio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Now, Brian, how can people listen to this lovely show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show or you want to catch your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio app, and at WRNO.com.
Did you miss anything?
I missed a ton. I always do.
Just checking.
There's so many. Oh, so you still want to bring this up?
I'm playing the music, ain't I?
Oh, jeez.
I got to do the groovy dance. Just take the thumb and you go left,
No,
right,
that's
right,
terrible.
left,
so
right. Right.
We need to give folks context. This is the theme song for what show?
Out of This World. I thought this was the theme song for Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Okay.
I don't know why I had this song stuck in my head, but this is from Out of This World. I thought it was Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
And Out of This World was a TV series from 87.
Yeah, it was basically the same vein of, Melissa Joan Hart and Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It was just one of those ridiculous 80s sitcoms, but she had the power to stop time. Like, she'd snap her fingers and freeze time.
Okay.
And she was an alien and, easily... They both had magical powers, in essence.
Right.
So I guess that's where I got confused. I don't know.
Well, but ultimately the point is the fact that Netflix is rebooting Sabrina the Teenage Witch in a 10-episode series. It comes out October, I believe.
Yes, and I don't think Melissa Joan Hart will be making an appearance in this. It's pretty dark, and I think she's very religious now.
Yeah, no.
I'm still madly in love with Melissa Joan Hart.
Oh yeah, no, but it seems pretty
too?
super dark.
Are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But,
So
but
I'm the only one. I'm holding this torch for Melissa Joan Hart.
You are.
Call me.
It's ridiculous. But
it does look dark and gritty. It's like The Craft meets, I don't know, American Horror Story almost.
Something like that. Or
it's like they're bringing the whole satanistic vibe kind of deal, man. It's like the dark magic portion.
Yeah.
Not the, hey, I have a pet kitty cat familiar.
Right.
And I can make my own wardrobe. Ding.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. This is a squirrel.
This week in Geek History.
We're sending you back to the future!
Yes! Oh my God!
This week in Geek History is brought to you by Jezebel Johnston, Devil's Handmaid by Nancy Hansen, read by Brian Held. Available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. This week in Geek History.
Yes! Oh my gosh!
Da-na-na, da-na-na. Wow.
All right. We don't have a lot of time. I'm going to cut this down a little bit. First item on the list, September 12th, 1983. I went nuts when this came out. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, releases its first miniseries. It was a 5-part miniseries.
Wait, what?
The cartoon.
Okay.
For G.I. Joe, A Real American...
What miniseries did they have?
That was how it opened. It was a little, 5 episodes.
Oh, and that's what started it as the syndicated cartoon show that we all know and love?
Yes. It, let's see.
So 25% red lasers, 25% blue lasers, and 50%
violence.
Half the battle.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Half the battle. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry. 2 5-part miniseries. It was in 83 and 84, and then it became a regular series. Ran in syndication 85 to 86.
And then they made that god-awful movie with Cobra. La, 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 la.
It's ridiculous.
God, it was horrible.
But I was like 6 years old when that came out. Or 10.
Well, they started killing people. They tried to do the whole stupid, let's kill Optimus Prime, so let's start killing Duke and G.I. Joe guys.
Yeah, but they
ruined my childhood.
I'm sorry. I was 8 when this came out, and I just went ballistic when it came on the air. It was just nuts. I loved it.
Violent is inherent in the system.
Yes. All right. This one's for you, Dave. September 13th, 2005. Sees the premiere of Supernatural on the WB. Yes.
Yay.
So
that's
much
my
so.
favoriteest show in the whole wide world.
You named your youngest Dean.
Dean, yeah, pudding. What's next?
What's next? On September 15th, 1995. Giving us the first appearance of Angelina Jolie. It's the cult movie Hackers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was a pretty bad but cool movie.
It's so awesome and then terrible at the same time.
Yes,
because hacking doesn't work like that at all.
All bad guys ride skateboards and have cheesy European accents.
Last one on my list, kind of old one. September 16th, 1963. The science fiction television series The Outer Limits premieres on the ABC network. So
that was a cool show.
Yeah, it was a cool show. So
it wasn't as good as Twilight Zone, but
right.
It was serviceable.
Yeah, it was good. All right, you ready for some birthdays?
I'm always ready for some birthdays.
On the 10th, Chris Columbus, filmmaker. He did the Harry Potter movies, Goonies, Gremlins, all that good stuff.
Columbus. I'm like, what?
Yes.
In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue?
No. On the 11th, Roxanne Dawson. She was Bellina Torres. in Voyager. On the 12th, Joe Pantoliano. He was in Goonies. He was also Cypher in The Matrix. You remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. On the 13th, Freddie Wong, which you might not know, but he's a YouTube sensation. He worked with Jon Favreau on some YouTube videos and stuff. He does a lot of special effects. He's very cool. On the 14th, Walter Koenig, and on the 15th, Tommy Lee Jones.
Ooh, yeah, Men in Black.
Yes.
All right, Brian. Anything else? We got like 30 seconds.
No. I mean, there's a ton of events coming up in October.
Go to Bad Wolf and get free tickets.
Yes.
Shout out to Universal Circus, though, too.
Right. But, Garden Brother Circus next weekend. And, lots of stuff going on. We'll be talking about it in the coming weeks, so...
Just follow us on Twitter and the Facebook page.
Yes.
Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
GFL. News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM, New Orleans, an iHeart radio station.